Hey, what's up? Welcome to episode 14 of Yo, That's Weird with me, Sonia Z, and my hilarious guest, the fantastic Rob Stant comedy.
Oh, hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Hey, I don't know if you guys know the theme of today's episode is who hasn't washed their hair more recently between me and Rob.
Yeah, I didn't wash mine today, so I watched it. I watched it yesterday, though.
Same here.
Yeah.
Uh, we had to get a bathroom renovated at my house, so unfortunately, it's been dry shampoo week.
Oh, that sucks.
Rob, thank you for doing the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having
Appreciate
me.
it. I know we've tried to coordinate this a few times.
Oh, yeah, we've been back and forth with schedules for quite a bit now, so it's nice to do it. Yeah,
Good to be
finally.
busy. Good to be busy, but also good to,
Oh,
link
yeah.
up. I liked after seeing you in person this weekend at a show we did together.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
We did an outdoor show. That's always fun.
yeah, those are tricky to navigate, to say the
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
I like the fact, like, I'm not 100%. I don't lean 100% into crowd work. I'll do it here and
Hmm.
there. Some people, go ham. They only do crowd work. So I like
Yeah.
to see the mix of different styles try to fight the wind.
Oh, yeah. If the crowd is into like jokes right off the bat, then I'll just stick with that. But like, if they're just, especially with an outdoor show where people like drinking and shit and you kind of like need to get them to shut up, like I feel like talking to them, doing crowd work, it's like really like sometimes you just kind of have to dig into it, which I like. I don't think I'm really that good at crowd work. I only post the clips like that are good. So people only see the good parts. So when somebody's like, I like your crowd work, you're good at it. I'm like, no, I have folders of me just being like, oh, you're a plumber. That's cool.
You're like, this is my dick in the best light possible right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't get better than this on camera.
Right.
No, I appreciate that the crowd work clips. I don't mind because they're one of a kind.
Yeah.
They're not going to happen all the time the same way. Like you might have 10 times you ask somebody, hey, are you a plumber? But the
Hmm.
answer is going to change, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like eventually I'll think of something. Oh, sweet. My
Is your
my fire
apartment building
alarms.
on fire?
Yeah, sorry about that. My wife is cooking, so I hope that's not too loud on the mic, is it? Oh, it's off now. Okay, we're
It
good.
was so funny. It
It's
was
just a small
crazy
fire.
loud, but I like how it's just cooking.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
burn down the kitchen. It's fine. Yeah, no, I think it's funny because I remember OG Rob Stant. Not many
Oh
people
yeah.
know the original Rob when we used to all say you look like a school shooter.
Oh yeah. I think well now I just look like a different one. Like I went from looking like one Columbine shooter to the other. I just grew my hair
Yeah.
out.
You went
Yeah.
you went from Columbine to the MGM Grand.
Yeah, yeah. That's an accurate description. Yeah. Yeah, I
um
had I had a buzz cut for a while and then COVID hit and I was like, I'm just gonna fuck it, I'm gonna grow my hair out. And then I looked like I went into hiding because like I came out of COVID and like nobody remembered me. And I was like, no, I dyed my hair and everything. I went through it during COVID. I dyed my hair blue and it was only supposed to last for like I think like a month. It was supposed to be temporary, but like it was definitely not like it lasted like the entire summer. And then when I came back into comedy, my hair like it was like fading out, so my it looked like gray.
oh
So like I
yeah.
just looked like this like old woman, and it was really weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun times coming out. Everyone had a different like animus when they came out of COVID.
Oh yeah. Everybody
So
went through it. I learned guitar and then forgot guitar. That was
I
fun.
everyone tried to learn an instrument that summer.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody wrote like one third of the screenplay and then
Yeah.
gave up. They're like, fuck this, I'll just play Animal Crossing.
I'll get famous on TikTok.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll be a Twitch streamer. That was
Yeah.
everybody's fucking fun.
Yeah. Oh
Everybody
yeah.
spent their fucking stimulus on a $1,500 setup, and then was like, "Wow, this is hard."
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice if we could all just Twitch stream our random thoughts?
Oh yeah.
Um, you play games? You a gamer?
Not recently. I'm more like casual now. Like I would say, like before I started doing stand up, I was like trying to be like a Twitch streamer, and I was like grinding like every day, just like I mean, it's stupid to say it's grinding, but like video games stopped being fun because I was like just trying to be entertaining and I wasn't really enjoying it myself. So I would just like try to play whatever games were relevant or popular. But now it's like, like once I started doing comedy and like that's kind of taking up more of my schedule now, then I'll just like, oh, if I come home, it's late and I just want to fucking just relax and I'll just like put on like, I'll play Madden or Call of Duty or something in my living room. Um, like I'm not really too, I used to be big into PC gaming and all that shit. Now I have a PS5 and a big TV and that's just been taking up most of my time anytime I do play video games.
I get it.
What
I
about
get
you?
it. Yeah, I like to come home and kill guys and shoot them in the head and dick.
Hell yeah.
For my relaxed time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, three or four beers, and I'm gonna start yelling at kids in Call of Duty.
I get crossed with a lot of little kids think my voice is another little kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess yeah. I guess if I close my eyes, I can see that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I have the autism where you pick up people's affectations while they're speaking.
Oh, okay. I get that
So
too.
yeah.
There was a while where I when I was in the eighth grade, I was I like only played Call of Duty for online like every day after school. Like I or no, it was seventh grade, and like at one point, my mom got my progress report, and I had an F in every class besides band. And she was like, you got straight F's. And I was like, no, there's an A. And she's like, yeah, that's band. And I was like, okay, well, fair
Look.
enough. But I would play. I had this one friend from the UK, and we would play every day after school. And I got to a point where I started to develop an accent, and everybody was like, "What the fuck are you like? Are you British?" But yeah, it was definitely,
I didn't expect you to say British.
yeah, yeah.
Of all the like I was thinking like heavy southern
Oh no,
Texas.
no. Yeah, yeah, he was from the United Kingdom, so we would play online together, and like we would just like and like got to a point. I played with him so much, I started to develop an accent over
You're just at school. Oi,
yeah,
mate.
yeah. I'd be like, did anybody hand in the homework? And they're like, what?
You don't even notice you're doing it.
No, I didn't.
You're just bringing tea and
I
crumpets to
started,
class.
I started like answering people in questions. I'm like, but that's not what you said earlier. And they're like, what?
Classic British.
Yeah, yeah.
Deflect with a question.
Yeah, my closest friend was fucking 3,000 miles away, wherever. I don't know how far it is.
Hey, I was some eighth grade kid's best friend for
Yeah.
a whole summer after COVID.
Okay. Yeah.
On Call of Duty. That's all he would do. Every day would come home, kick his brother off the game. And then when school had to start again, he was like, "How am I going to keep in touch with you?" And I'm like, "I can't give this child my phone number. Like he's asking for trouble." So I was like, "You can email me, I guess."
Email.
And
That's even weirder.
I know, but I didn't know I didn't use the Xbox app at the time because then later he was like, "Do you
Okay.
have Xbox app?" And I go, "All right, this is too much that
I
you
feel
can."
like, yeah, I feel like you could get away with it. Like you have like more like a friendly like demeanor. Like you really like you with an eighth grader, it'd be okay. If I was like, yeah, I'm talking like this like sixth grade like girl over Xbox, she's cool. They'd be like, what the fuck?
Everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah, you would get banned.
for sure.
No, but I get it. Pen pals. I'm dating someone long distance that I met on Xbox.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. How long you been together for?
Talking for like 4 or 5 months, but no met during COVID, like right after COVID.
Oh, that's cool.
Uh,
It's not the same eighth grader, is it?
I mean, I can't disclose them. No. No.
I
Of age.
somebody I went to high school with actually has a kid with somebody they met over Xbox.
I believe it.
It was pretty crazy.
I know someone that knows Fred Durst, and during COVID we were playing online, and they were like, "Oh, by the way, Fred met his girlfriend playing Xbox. She's from Mexico. She's moving here."
That's hilarious.
And I know I was like, "What? Okay." I mean, you get to know the person's way they talk and stuff first without seeing them, so it's like the first blind date
Yeah.
kind of I've ever done.
I used to be friends with this guy who sounded exactly like Rob Dyrdek.
Okay.
And we would go on Xbox and he would like pretend to be Rob Dyrdek. And it was so hilarious because people would like it was right around the time where Robin Big was like at its peak.
Okay.
And it was just so funny, like being like a random lobby. And he'd be like yelling, pretending to yell at his dog. He's like, Meaty, get off the couch, man. They're like, what the fuck? Is that Rob Dyrdek?
That's so good. That's it. That would be a great Twitch stream. to have
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like pranks up with him doing it as Rob. That's a good idea.
Well, I'm
That's a
sure. I mean, now there's a lot of really good like impressionists who like upload like clips of them like pretending to be like whatever celebrities on Xbox and stuff. And now even with AI software, I feel like you can just fucking
true,
fake it. There's all those filters.
true.
But this was at the time where like up like gaming videos were like rare on like YouTube and stuff. So I think I posted a clip on my old channel, which I don't have anymore, of him pretending to be Rob Dyrdek, and it got like 30,000 views, which like at the time was a lot on
Yeah,
YouTube.
sure.
It was pretty cool.
It's still a lot. Don't shame 30,000 views, Rob, just because you're fucking TikTok famous.
TikTok, the algorithm hasn't liked me recently, so the
Oh,
weirdest things go viral. Like I made fun of my wife. She bought a container for eggs,
okay.
and I like made a 30-second clip of me being like, "Oh wow, if only these came with a container." And then it got like fucking like a million views. And half the comments were a bunch of dudes being like, "Dude, I get it. My wife's the same way." And then the other comments were a bunch of women being like, "Leave her alone. It's her money." And I was like, "It's just a joke.
Oh my
Like,
God.
relax."
This isn't a forum.
I don't care what she spends her money on. Like she's buying a Hello Kitty bed set this week, I think. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna sleep. I'm just gonna be passed out drunk on it. So if that makes you happy,
That's funny because literally right before this, like I was setting up and I hung up the phone with my guy and I was arguing with him because he only has throw blankets on his bed. And I was like,
geez,
look, you're weird. I like you because you're weird, but that's not
yeah,
normal to just my feet stick out the bottom.
yeah. I mean, for me, a place to sleep is just a place to sleep.
That's I don't
I've
judge.
slept in my car before. It's all good.
I've slept on a couch this weekend. It doesn't,
Yeah.
I'm not like that, but it was just funny. Like, it's just funny little things that we do as like, because I'll spend so much money on like the nicest things sometimes for myself or like
Hmm.
whatever, like let's say skincare or something. And then just have like, I don't know, the worst beat up like luggage or gym bag or something that I've
Oh
just
yeah,
had forever. Like, I don't care to like upgrade that.
yeah,
So
yeah. I can be pretty similar sometimes.
yeah, kind
It's
of get
funny you mentioned sleeping on the couch. My wife, she works a night shift most times. So like anytime she's working night shift, I always sleep on the couch downstairs because like we just got an addition built onto our house. Like we live with my mom, but we finally have our own place. But like our upstairs, it's like I get like scared being by myself. So like I sleep downstairs on the couch when she's not home because I get sleep paralysis too much. So I'm just gonna sleep on the couch and just fucking I'm more comfortable there, you know. There's just
yeah.
something about being in a big bed by myself. I don't like it because we have a big, I don't even know what kind of bed it is, but it's way too big for, we look so tiny in it. It's hilarious. It takes up like
Um,
most of our room.
maybe like a California king or just a
Yeah.
king, even
Yeah, I think it's
king.
one of those two. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that's funny. I'm just picturing you two shorties jumping on there.
And the funny thing is our bed frame is so like high up. So literally the mattress starts at like our chest. So we have to like jump into bed. It's
That's I can read thoughts, and I was picturing that coming out of your
yeah.
head.
I had I had Jim when the house we just finished moving in, Jim, my buddy Jim Gillespie, he came over and he went up, he was like, I was let me give you a tour, and I showed him the bed and he just laughed for like 5 minutes straight. He's like, this bed is so like it looks like a prop. It's like it's crazy.
You got the
Yeah. And
the end.
we have steps for our cat to get into the bed because it's so high up. And he was like, "Are those stairs for you?" And I was like, "No, we don't."
I can hear that coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
My sister had those stairs for her dog, but the big dogs won't use them.
Dude, it sucks because like we bought the steps for our cat because the first week of us sleeping in the bed, she just sat at the floor and cried because she couldn't get up. So we bought the steps, and then she eventually learned how to jump into it. So now she doesn't use them. We just
It's
have, and every time trash day rolls around, I forget to fucking bring them outside.
she just had spatial awareness issues.
Yeah.
Um, so let's see. What do you like to snack on that's weird for me, Rob? I like to talk about weird foods if people like.
What do I like to snack on that's weird?
Yeah, something late night weird
Um,
snack or
I've been let's see, late night weird snack. Well, my wife, she buys like all this like she like goes to like the Filipino market or whatever, and she buys like it's like corn chips, and I'm like, what? And it's so I mostly the weird snacks that I eat are like whatever she buys, and I'm like, let me try this.
okay.
And like yeah, it's like the last she had like like it was like literally like chips that were like flavored like actual corn and like sweet corn. And it was really weird because like they were like, I was like, this tastes weird, but I can't stop eating it, you know?
Okay.
And then I started getting into like low calorie like candy and stuff, like sugar free, like high fiber candy and stuff, because like trying to get in shape. And that just makes me like I ate like 2 bags the other day and just couldn't stop shitting. So I was like, all right, I'm done with that. Um, and then what other snacks? Those are probably yeah, I'm not too big of a snack guy. I just anytime like I'm like I want a snack or something, I'll just see what's like whatever's in my fridge, probably like a yogurt or like, and then I'll just grab a beer and just, you know,
Beer and yogurt sounds disgusting.
beer and yogurt. Yeah, well, I have to get my protein in, so
Yeah,
but
true. Well,
those are probably my weirdest snacks. What about you?
I don't know. I like to do like weird sweet and salty combos
Oh yeah.
sometimes. And like I'm trying to think what I've done recently. Like, oh, I made a ham, egg, and cheese on a cinnamon raisin bagel.
Oh wow. That
Uh,
sounds actually really good. I would eat the fuck out of
it was really good, and everyone like where we were at over the weekend was like, "Damn, that looks really good." And
that.
I don't usually eat pork, not for religious reasons, for vanity. It
Yeah.
makes me break out. So
Oh, okay. I'm like that with chocolate.
yeah,
If I get into like I went to Hershey Park the other day because me and my wife we saw Blink.
okay.
Um, and then we spent the next day just hanging out at the park, and we like went to like every sweet food. Like they have like all these snack stands and stuff. And went like I had like Reese's cups, this like Hershey chocolate syrup, that. And like the next day, like I just looked so gross. And I hadn't shaved in like a week either. So and like I don't like grow facial hair, so it's just like I looked like I like just graduated like the fucking 8th grade. It was the worst, but
Yeah, like it's probably
yeah.
the sugar more than anything, but
Yeah. Well,
like
probably, but also like if I eat like Sour Patch Kids or
then it
like
doesn't.
no,
Oh man,
but
then it
it's
is the
just
chocolate. That's weird.
yeah. So
I guess like some women I've heard that happens too.
yeah.
It's weird how like just one certain food can just fuck you up like that.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Chocolate. And then I'll eat nuts sometimes, and it's weird because like anytime I eat nuts, sometimes I'll eat like nuts and it'll give me a panic attack. I don't know why. It's like I'm not allergic to them, but every time I eat nuts, I like convince myself that I am allergic, and I go into a panic attack.
You and
So
Seamus should hang out more.
yeah.
I think he fixed his, but that's very similar
Yeah.
mindset. That sucks when you talk yourself into. One time I convinced myself I was having an allergic reaction to um no, I convinced myself I had some MRSA that like my sister's dog got on its skin or some kind of like
Yeah.
skin infection. I was convinced because I pet them that I got because I had a sweatband on.
Hmm.
It was when I was playing bass in a band, and I guess I had it on too long. Maybe it actually got sweaty under there, and I didn't take it off, and it made like I don't know. Eventually, that's probably what it was, but I worked myself up into such a high panic attack. I
Yeah.
was like, "This is the dog's infection on my skin." I went to the emergency room, and they were like, "Yeah, here's some Benadryl. Get the
Oh
fuck
my
out of here,
God.
drug addict." Like,
I've gone to the ER twice off a panic attack.
yeah,
And the one time I went, I the like a couple days prior, I had a really bad allergic reaction to something. Like I don't know what it was, but like I broke out in hives and my lips were like swollen. And I went to the doctor, and they were like, "Well, what did you have to eat that was out of the ordinary?" And I was like, "Nothing." I was like, "They're like, did you do anything? Did you put anything in your body you don't normally do?" And I was drunk at the bar the night, like a couple nights prior, and I was like, "Well, I hit my buddy's jewel. I don't ever like vape." And they were
yeah.
like, "Okay, so either you're allergic to that, or they ate something that you are allergic to, and then put their lips on it, and then you were whatever that was got
Got
on your
enough
yeah."
of it got in there. Yeah.
But like I'm a pretty adventurous eater. Like I'm not like allergic to anything. So I was like, am I allergic to vaping? Because that's like super gay if I am. And then all my buddies roasted me for like a week. They're like, they're like, Rob tried to vape once and he got had an allergic reaction. And then the only thing other thing I could think of was I tried this new beer that I never had that was like had like a lot of like hops. Like it was
Okay.
like a really heavy IPA. And when they tested me, they did like an allergy test on my arm. They tested me for like grass, whatever, like all the whatever normal allergies, fucking bullshit. And one of the things they tested me for was hops, and it wasn't enough for them to say I am officially allergic to it. But they were like, you're not allergic to hops, but this is the one that had the biggest reaction. So like avoid any beers that are like really heavy in hops, which is fine because I don't like IPAs anyway. So it's like but like if I would have been just straight up allergic to beer, I would be like that
I
would
was
have
gonna
ruined.
say, damn, so gay you're allergic to
I
beer.
know, and vaping, it would have
And
sucked.
vaping, what a
I can't have
spectrum.
any fun.
um, that's funny 'cause I just read a stupid article right before I signed in here about how they're saying vaping, they're attributing vaping to the rise in bad behavior on planes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know how
Oh yeah, I guess
corny is that.
a bunch of people are like, wah, because they
Yeah,
can't hit their vape. Well, I
yeah,
mean, it's like I see people that fucking hit their vape in Target and shit. So like the
yeah.
problem is like
That's me.
people are yeah, well, I mean, hey, do no judgment, but like people are so like
It's weed,
they
not
get
nicotine.
okay. Well, they get so used to just that
Yeah,
habit of
just
like, you
doing it
smoke
wherever,
wherever and then you go
wherever.
on a plane, it's like one of like four places on the planet that you
Yeah,
can't smoke your vape
yeah.
without getting in serious trouble and or with getting while getting in serious trouble. And like I think that's part of it. It's like but I get hammered before every flight. So I'm like I'm not a big smoker anyway.
Yeah, I'm a big
So,
take edible person before a
oh
flight.
yeah.
Um,
I would panic. I'd be like, I'm
I
gonna
like that
crash.
panic attack. That one's extra contained because
Oh
you're just like
yeah.
you can't get out of there.
I've been getting edibles from like Jersey dispensaries, and I swear to God, dude, whatever measurements they're putting in that shit, it's all fucked up.
No, look, my brother was getting I was getting him some edibles from the one guy Brimstone that hangs around
Oh
Philly and
yeah.
goes to the mics and he's cool and he makes them all handmade. I was getting
Okay.
him them. He was taking forever to find. And all of a sudden I go, hey, I got some gummies. You want them? Whatever. I
Uh-huh.
just got you some extra. He goes, I got a hot piss test at work.
Oh no.
But it's because I think he went into Jersey and got some of those
Okay.
because I don't know what they're making them with either. I haven't tried them yet.
Yeah, I mean Jersey, I mean their shit's all like it's like just at like dispensaries, whatever. It's not
Yeah.
like they don't have like Delta 8 or anything. That shit's just like actual
Okay.
THC. But because I've had Delta 8 gummies and that shit is a whole nother fucking scary, spooky level.
Yeah.
But but like the shit I've had in Jersey, like there I buy like the 10 milligram bags. And one time, like I was taking these 10 milligrams for a while, and it was fine. Like I would take 10 milligrams, and be like, okay, this is perfect. This is exactly where I need to be. And then I bought another bag, and it was the same dose, 10 milligram. But whoever was making that shit in the factory must have fucked it up because I took one of those things, and I was just like glued to my couch, and I was like, this is like, there's an extra zero on this one. So they fucked it up. They put some batch got fucked up or
That's
something. But
I
that's
mean,
so
I listen, the problem with the weed industry that I've noticed since going to even just the medical ones in PA at first, all the workers are all way
they're
more
all
stoned
they're
than
fucked up making it.
than the worst Taco Bell employee that you could ever imagine.
I know, and I think that's
And
I yeah. I was in I was at Wawa the other day, and I got a black coffee, black iced coffee, and I watched the lady pour cream into it and then hand it to me, and I was like, no, I wanted the black coffee, and she was so baked. She was like, yeah, it's black, and I was like, you didn't put cream in this, and she was like, and I'm not confrontational, so I just took it and then threw it out. But I was like, that's you like. How high do you have to be?
the one at Starbucks one day, this person must have been high. I said, "Could I have an iced?" It was like whatever, a white chocolate latte, let's
Yeah.
say, or some whatever flavor
Oh, you get that
special.
fancy shit.
Sometimes I do, but
Yeah.
I just wanted the flavor. I said, "Could I get the iced peppermint whatever
Mm-hmm.
latte, but with matcha instead?"
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
instead of a coffee latte, a matcha latte with that same flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I said it wrong because then I got a regular latte with like matcha in it. So it was not
Oh,
green or brown. It was just like diarrhea color.
ew.
And it was the worst tasting thing I've ever had. And I was like, what in what world would this person think that this coffee and green tea flavor
Yeah.
together, or that's even what I said remotely?
That's why I just drink my coffee black. I'm like, it's really hard to fuck it up. And if you do fuck it up, then
That's bad. That's
it's like you're just having a rough day. I get it.
you're on
Like,
a rough lifetime at that point.
yeah.
It's just
But
like
but anytime me and my wife go to Starbucks, she always she's like, I'll have a double oat milk. I'll have a double oat milk shaken espresso with cinnamon and yeah, blah blah blah. And I'm like,
Yeah, I don't get that
what you?
crazy,
I'm like,
but
you are never gonna get. She's like, oh, they fucked it up. I'm like, yeah, no shit. You got fucking 12 things in it.
yeah, I try to stick to like four or under, four
Yeah.
changes or under, but yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
but
just inject the caffeine into my veins.
I I was no, but like it's funny how you were saying like the workers always like they're so high. I think those edibles, the scientists got to be high too. They're
Oh
testing them
yeah.
out. They're dosing themselves out on these things to
Mm-hmm.
test it. So they
Yeah.
probably, like you said, just made a bad batch. And I wonder if that's what they got my brother with. Like two, they said it was maybe 10, and it was like you said, an extra zero. And
Yeah.
yeah,
You ever read like the reviews for weed? It's so funny because they're
oh, I got
always
to start doing that.
they're like that one works. They're like every single one is like I'm high, it works. It's like
You're like, I
like
feel spacey. It's doing its
yeah.
thing.
That's yeah. I imagine that's how every scientist testing them is. They're like, yeah, I'm stoned. Sure, it's probably 10 milligrams. Send it.
It's funny. Yeah, they're like, all right, decently high, pack it up.
Yeah. And I think they fuck up certain ones in each bag too. Cause like I took me and my buddy, we had one edible out of the same bag. I had one, it fucked me up super hard. He had one, it didn't fuck him up at all. He was fine. So like the next time we took edibles, I literally cut mine in half and he had half of his. And like we cut both in half and we
Like
both ate a
swapped.
half of each. That
Yeah,
way I'm like, we're getting it from the same one.
a whole
Yeah.
one.
So
Yeah.
and it worked. We were both fucked up. So I was like, okay, good. Like we figured out the system now.
Yeah, we figured out the formula.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Rob, this just getting started here. I think we need to come back, take a break real quick,
Cool.
and come back and we will get into probably your weird story, whatever weird story you brought for me. I think I
Okay.
remember. All right. So I'll see you
Yeah.
here in a few minutes. What's up? We're back with our
Howdy.
guest, Rob Stant. What was your wife cooking out there when the fire
I think
alarm went off?
she's making like chicken parm or something.
Okay.
Her and her mom are over, and it's funny. It's right before we started recording. I was like, "It smells like you guys are burning it," and they're like, "No, it's fine." And then they closes the door. And the door is shut in there too, which is because our kitchen it goes into the other part of the house and it starts there. So I
Okay.
was like, I'm gonna shut the door because I'm sure the alarm's gonna go off, and then it did. So it would have been even louder if I had it open.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
so they're having fun attempting to cook.
you like any, do you like to eat anything that's burnt? Like you
Um,
prefer it burnt?
Jim came over and burned some hot dogs on my grill,
Okay.
and that was pretty fucking good. Because the outside was burnt, but the inside was juicy, and it was like a
Mm,
really good like combo.
yeah.
Um, I also like burnt pizza is pretty good. I like that. Um, uh, maybe like a burnt bagel
Okay.
occasionally because I
Occasionally.
yeah occasionally like like that's probably similar to the hot dogs. Like if like the top of it is like black, but the inside is like
Still soft,
yeah.
soft to the tooth.
What about you?
Like a burnt potato chip.
Oh, okay.
If there's
How do
like
you burn
something,
a potato chip?
sometimes there'll just be some in plain potato chips. They'll just
Oh,
be like a
okay.
little darker. So the russet ones, if you buy the russet ones that the kettle
Oh,
cooked russet, those basically taste
gotcha.
burnt. French fry, like a burnt French fry.
Oh yeah, those are good.
We were talking about burnt marshmallows around the campfire, and I
I
don't prefer those burnt.
Yeah, I'm too lazy to eat s'mores because I almost never eat s'mores because like they're messy, they take too much time. Like I'm like I'm lazy with like the simplest things, and that's one of the things where it's just like my hands are gonna get sticky. Like I'm gonna fucking go to reach for my phone and that's gonna be sticky, and I'm like I'll just have a beer and fucking watch you guys fumble and drop a marshmallow on your shoe and laugh at you and all that. So
I definitely used to be more like that. I have a thing with like my hands getting like
yeah,
sticky and stuff like that. But it was very funny to watch a bunch of people on like acid and all kinds of assorted things
yeah.
try to do s'mores.
The one time I will make a s'more is if they have Reese's cups because that's like to
Okay.
me that's really the only way you
Well, there
can
you go with a weird snack. That's a different one.
yeah
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that,
you
honestly.
gotta try it
Okay.
instead
I
of
don't.
using
I
a
hate
piece.
Hershey chocolate. I just do s'mores and the cookies. I or
Oh really?
marshmallows and the cookies. I fucking think Hershey chocolate plain. I get in trouble because I'll say this in stores.
Yeah,
Kisses, plain kisses and plain chocolate bars, worst candy, hands down across the board in the whole world
it's just
of
boring.
chocolate. It's just boring. It's
Yeah, there's
just
nothing
boring.
there.
It's
Like
not
I get it.
the taste
Yeah.
itself.
Like if it was 19 fucking
Uh,
78, I'm sure that's impressive
Yeah,
to have a
when the
bar of chocolate. But
whenever,
we
whenever,
got technology has advanced. Now we have the same thing but with weed in it. So like why
yeah.
would I?
I mean, they had Mustangs in 1978, so maybe like 1943, but still.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah,
It's like, yeah, when they started mass producing chocolate bars for people, because chocolate was like a luxury if you're
I
like
know.
so it was like in the Renaissance or poorer times. It's like,
Mhm.
I get it. And even depression, that was like a luxury. So
Yeah,
to come out with, oh, here, you can just have this chocolate bar in your hand. It's fucking Willy Wonka at that point. You're like
I
losing
know.
it as a kid. So yeah, and it's like OG. People love OG status stuff sometimes too hard.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
it's like, no, they've invented it, reinvented that
I
product.
know. Yeah, I've never
Like,
seen somebody eat a Hershey's bar. I feel like if I ever saw somebody like just going in on a Hershey's bar, I'd be like, "You're a fucking weirdo."
no, my one
Like
friend
it, like
James does it, and I'm like, you're psycho. I fucking
like
hate
an
you. Why do we
adult.
hang out? Like,
I'm like, why did do but like grab a beer, you lunatic? What are you doing?
he'll drink beer with his Hershey's, to be fair, but I'm like, this of all the candy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
Try s'mores with the Reese's. It's a game changer.
because there's just so many other plain chocolates. Like if you want
Yeah.
a different plain I don't know. It's just
Or you
plain. It's
take an
boring.
or you take an Oreo and you fucking pop that bad boy open and you put the s'more inside of the Oreo.
Okay.
Have a little s'moreo.
Okay.
I've never tried that, but I saw it on TikTok and it's
Hmm.
on my to-do list this summer.
All right, I'm gonna add that. Now that could be now. See, like when I used to send out my messages to get this podcast started, I would give a whole thing, and nobody reads anything. So I started just
Okay.
telling people I'm gonna do a Patreon eventually, and my thing will be revisiting the episodes and getting the comic, and then we try their weird foods
Oh,
together.
that'd be cool. Yeah, do it.
Because a lot of times you say you're gonna do that and you forget about it. It might be six
Hmm.
months from now, and I'll be like, all right, and we can still do it. Different flavor Oreos, because I'm in my head I went, oh, the golden ones.
Yeah,
But
you're gonna message me and be
or
like, "When are we doing s'moreos?" I'm gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
exactly. So, yeah, that's one of my favorite parts is to try other people's weird things.
Yeah,
And that interests me. People's, because some people claim to be picky and then eat some really weird thing that's
yeah.
out of the ordinary that other people's are like, oh,
I'm not a picky eater at all. I'll fucking eat whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I find like people who aren't will tend to have more like strange, like, oh, this one time I ate this weird thing together and I've kept eating it.
Yeah.
Going forward. I would eat it like that. But yeah, so I think
Oh,
he's
you
already
know what? Not really a food, but now I think about it, I like to dip pizza in Chick-fil-A sauce.
oh,
It's a big fat guy move, but it's
which
really good.
one? The Chick-fil-A
Oh,
sauce, the one that's the
the
Chick-fil-A
OG.
flavor. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I know what it
yeah,
is. I don't know what it is, but I know what you mean. It's like
yeah, it's
Big
good.
Big Mac sauce or whatever the hell.
Hmm.
Interesting because well, I don't know if I've said this on here before, but there was a place in Penn State when I went out there a few times just to hang out. I didn't go there with
Hmm.
my friend back in the day, Gumby's Pizza.
Okay.
And they have these things called Pokey Sticks. And the Pokey Sticks were just basically Papa John's, the white cheesy bread, like the little smaller circle cheesy bread, and
Yeah.
but they would give you a packet of ranch with it.
Oh, wow.
And it's I Papa John's with that ranch sauce to this day fills that void in my life.
Oh, nice.
But regular pizza with ranch I don't do.
It has to be Papa John's.
It has to be that white, the all white. It's like an all white, but it's not a white pizza. It's cheesy sticks, cheese bread
Damn.
things.
Do you like stuffed crust?
I don't fuck with that because like I don't know. It just
It's like a reward for eating for eating this pizza. You're like, oh, now there's like more pizza.
I like the idea of it, but I think the one or two times I've ever tried it, it was like too. Oh,
Did you try Pizza Hut or
man, I'm this is actually a lot of years probably that I haven't even bothered to do any sort of stuff crust because I used to do look at like when I was doing Instacart, I would look at the ones they have in the frozen section at the
oh
store. They
fuck
have
that. That shit's dog. Yeah,
so
don't
yeah,
do
so that
that.
looks like dog shit.
DiGiorno's, don't do that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
garbage. But
Um,
get Papa John's has
Papa
good
John's.
stuffed crust. Yeah.
Maybe I'll try it. I don't know. It's like
Yeah.
a. It's not. I
You're
like
literally wearing a
cheese.
pizza shirt. So like,
I love cheese and I love pizza, but like that few times I've tried, like maybe it was who invented it first back in the day? Was it Pizza Hut or Domino's? It was Domino's,
well,
wasn't it? Stuffed crust. It was like
no,
the first big
I don't
thing.
think Domino's has stuffed crust. I think Pizza
I think
Hut
they. Uh, I'm gonna have to
Really?
check that. I'm gonna have to check that. I'm
Because
gonna have to
because
verify.
yeah, check that because we used
Through
to have a
Fat Kid
Pizza Hut.
podcasting.
Yeah, we used to have a Pizza Hut that was near us, and we would only get them because they had stuffed crust. And Domino's,
And they
I don't know
bit
if it's
off
like
of
a
it. So
local thing.
Domino's was the biter, or let me see here. Let's see, Domino's.
Well, the Domino's near us never had stuffed crust. And this was
Maybe
like
they
probably
don't.
like 5 years ago.
Maybe it was always Pizza Hut
But
then.
maybe
Only,
yeah,
let's see.
I think it was always Pizza Hut.
They have stuffed cheesy bread. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's not the same.
certain what that is, but does
But
Domino's?
Pizza Hut like was like running game on stuffed crust
Uh,
for a while. And then Papa John's like piggybacked off of them. Because I think like Pizza Hut was like trying to like patent it or some shit. And then Papa John's was like, fuck you. Like
yeah, it's interesting. Domino's
Papa
stuffed
John's has
crust.
been I don't know if this is true or not, but it's something I've heard. Papa John's have been sued multiple times by other pizza places for saying better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
And the N word.
Because yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But he because like they were like, what do you mean we use the same ingredients as us? And like they got sued a couple times. And Papa John's have so much fucking money. They were like, fuck it. Like, yeah, sue us. We're gonna keep saying it.
That was their slogan
Much,
forever.
yeah. Yeah,
Better
and then they added the
ingredients.
N-word.
It's just like,
Yeah.
where's Papa John been at? He hasn't been on too many TV commercials since that. um, I think that you told me you had a story about rabies.
Oh yeah, I had a couple stories. I wasn't sure
All
which one
right.
I wanted to tell
Whatever.
you.
I mean, we'll start with one. We're only a few
I
minutes
have a
into.
story about how I almost got rabies,
Okay.
and I have a story about how I almost got arrested for giving a homeless guy money because the cops thought I was buying weed off him.
Okay. Start
And I was like,
with
yeah,
start
which
with that
one's
one. Start
I
with
was
that one. Yeah.
okay. I so when I was in high school, like I was like I smoked weed occasionally, but like but when I was in high school, I was like my senior year, I was like a big fucking pothead. And and I think I was like 17, so I wasn't old enough to officially be able to buy blunts.
Okay.
But I lived in Chichester, PA, right, and I lived like right down the street from Chester, PA, and there was a corner store that was like super sketchy, but it was in walking distance, and they would never card me if I wanted to buy blunts. I walked down there. I wanted to go buy a couple blunts for me and my buddy. I walked to the corner store, and there was this crackhead Reggie who's like a regular. He would hang outside of the store, and like if you didn't get served, he would like go in there and buy it for you. And then he
Yeah.
was really nice. He was a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And and so I walked up to the store. I'm like, hey Reggie, what's up? He's like, hey man. He's like, let me know if they don't help hook you up. I was like, I got you. And I walked in and I got the blunts, no problem. I walk out and Reggie's like, hey man. Reggie's like, he's like, you got $1? And I was like, Reggie, I got a 5. I was like, you got change? And he was like, he pulls out like I should have just given him the 5, but I think at the time I had like $15 to my
I
name.
get you.
So
Yeah.
I was 17. And
You're like, listen, homeless men that I'm
yeah,
negotiating with.
I was like, I'm gonna need change for that 5. So I give him the 5, and then he gives me back like 4 like dirty dollars and then like 4 quarters in change. So I give him money. He gives me money back. I walked and I'm like, okay, see you, Reggie. He's like, yeah, man, thanks. I walk down the street
Uh-huh.
and I'm walking back to my house, and all of a sudden this like cop like pops out from like out of nowhere, like a plainclothes police officer.
Mhm.
It's like very, very like old school, like 80s mustache, like it's something out of like a movie. And he pops up, he
What's his name?
goes,
David Harbour plays him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he shows me his badge. He goes, hey, buddy, can I talk to you for a minute? And like I'm like, sure. Like I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. So I walk up to him, and they go, do you a favor, just put your hands up for me? And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I put my hands up. They go into my pockets. They find like dirty cash. They find 2 blunts. They find my phone, like whatever. And then they're like, can you empty your pockets? I'm emptying all my pockets. So all I had was like cash, my phone, and then like two blunts. And they're asking me to take my shoes off and shit. And I'm
Hmm.
like, what? I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, because it was like it was 2 cops, and one of them is like standing behind the other one, like with his arms crossed, like chewing gum, and they're doing like good cop, bad cop. It was so weird. And they go, so where'd you put the weed? And I was like, what? And they're like, we saw you buy weed off that guy out front of that store because they were sitting there with fucking binoculars.
Uh-huh.
Because
Yeah, they were
apparently,
watching and
yeah,
some.
because that store, I think that store had also been like robbed a few times, so they were kind of like doing like a stakeout or whatever for something else. And I just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, how old are you? I was like 17. They're like, what are you doing buying weed down here? Like that store's dangerous. I was like, I wasn't buying weed. They're like, what are these blunts? And I'm like, yeah, I bought blunts. That's not weed. And they were like, okay, well, why like where do you live? And I told them where I lived, and like, well, why don't you just walk to Wawa? And I was like, because I'm 17, Wawa's gonna card me. That
Uh-huh.
place isn't gonna card me. And they're like, oh, so you're buying blunts underage? Ooh, that's not good. And I was like, isn't that their problem? Like, shouldn't you
You're
be
the
mad at
guy.
them?
You're the reason
And
they got those little
right.
calendars at Wawa with the date of birth thing on them.
Yeah. I'm like, isn't that their fucking problem? And and they're like, oh, well, they're like, look, man. And now he's trying to be good cop with me. The guy behind him, he's like, I think we should call his parents. And then he's like, hang on, hang on. He's like, look, dude. He's like, we were 17 once too. We get it. Just tell us where the weed is. You're not gonna get in trouble. And
Sure.
I was talking to him. I was like, dude, I was like, any other day you would be right, but right now I have nothing on me. And they're like, well, what are you buying the blunts for? And I didn't want to admit that I was going to use them to smoke weed. So I was like,
That you
my
don't have
buddy,
to.
yeah, yeah. I
It's
was
not
like, I
their
was
fucking
like,
business.
I know. They're like, what are the blunts for? And I was like, my buddy smokes weed. He doesn't get served down here, and I do. So I go down here, I buy the blunts. He throws me a couple bucks in return. It's just, like a business exchange. And they got nothing on me, and they're just like, they take out down all my information, and they're like, he's like turning into his fucking the bad cop, good cop. They're like, what do you think? Should we call his parents? And he's like, I don't know. And then the bad cop's grilling me. He's like, what's your GPA? And I was like, I don't know, like 3.5. Like, and they're like, okay, okay. They're like, do you think we should call your parents? I was like, if you call my parents, I'm gonna tell them the same exact thing I told you. Like, I'm just being honest. Which
Yeah.
is not, I was bluffing my ass off because in my head I'm like, please don't fucking call my
I
parents
know, but like
because my
still.
my my dad was like super anti-weed. My mom,
Yeah.
she knew, I didn't notice at the time, she knew I was smoking, but she didn't say anything. She was like, whatever, like it's just a thing.
Hmm.
But my dad was like, he's like, if I ever catch you smoking weed, we're gonna fight. And I was like, okay, but weed is awesome. So I was like, I'll take my chances. But so I was like, look, you guys want to call my parents? You can. I was like, but I'd rather just walk home. And they're like, okay, we'll make you a deal. They're like, take the blunts out of the wrapper and smash them on the ground right now, and then you can go home. So I did that, and they let me go home. And like, it would have been super funny if they were like, we got you for littering, but they
Yeah.
didn't. So and then I went home and I fucking smoked weed off a bowl instead. So I was like, yeah, whatever. Guess I'm not rolling a blunt.
Yeah. It's
But that
just
was
like
yeah. I almost
it's
got arrested because they saw me hand the
they
guy
saw what
money,
they thought they
and
saw something.
yeah, and then he gave me fucking whatever. So they
Yeah.
thought that I was buying drugs, but I
They
was like,
case profile they profiled both of you by
yeah,
race and whatever your position and time and that
yeah.
exchange of money.
I'm a 17-year-old handing money to a crackhead. So they
They're
were like,
watching, but yeah, and it's $5.
and
It's
I
like, oh,
explained it to him. I was just giving him. They're like, what was that exchange we saw? I was giving a homeless guy money. They're like, what do you give
and
you back? I was like, change. And
change.
they're like, you fucking took change from a homeless guy. I was like, I know it sounds stupid, but I only have like $8 more.
Yeah, you're like, bro, I'm 17.
I was like, I know. I spent all my money on Microsoft points and Xbox Live. Leave me alone.
And like Gatorade or whatever.
I
Like,
just want to get high and play Modern Warfare 2.
seriously. Like,
So that was,
yeah,
I guess, that was one of my stories that I like to tell.
that's funny because I feel like my episode before this is like former detectives.
Oh yeah.
And then there's like, so we talked about like, good cop, bad cop, that element.
Okay.
And it's funny you brought that up. Like you felt it. And I've been arrested because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time before. There
Okay.
was a drug dealer, bigger coke dealer next to the guy I would get weed and stuff from
Oh, yeah.
in this little like just couple trailers like down like by the lake across from like a spot where I lived. And yeah, so like I was just there and like I went in to get it and
And
came
they
back
rolled up.
out and they were behind my car because I'd left my car with my boyfriend at the time and a friend of ours in the car, and he was an idiot and had his foot on the brakes. They were like, yeah, we saw the brake lights in the car. We
Oh,
wouldn't have known you
wow.
were over here because I had gone there so many times. It's just this little like residential area. Nobody would have realized in and out. I never even saw anybody at that neighbor's house, but apparently they were fucking because they were like,
Damn.
"Where's the Coke?" They did the same thing to me. "Where's the Coke?" I'm like, "I don't fucking do Coke. It makes me break out."
It's like me with chocolate.
And ham for me. It's like my two
Yeah.
things I don't do. Um, but yeah, cops are so like they take such liberty with their rights when they think they're in the right.
Oh, well, and then I had another scenario. I think it was actually with one of the same cops. It was after it was in the same neighborhood right up the street. So when I started dating my wife, I was 18, she was 17. We were in high school. And I think we were like 4 months into dating, and like it was like at the time, like she had a curfew, and like both of our parents, we kind of had like semi-strict parents who like obviously didn't want us alone in our rooms, the doors locked. So I think we I think I was picking her up from work because she worked at Goodwill, and it was like 9 o'clock or something, 9:30, and she had to be home by 10. So we didn't have time to like go back to her house or my house. So I was like, hey, let's go to this park that's up down the street, and we'll just like make out or whatever. So I parked at this park. It's nighttime. Like we're making out, and all of a sudden, like you know how if you have your eyes closed and like somebody turns on the lights, you can like see like through your eyelids. You're like, what the fuck?
Yes. Yeah.
So we're in my dark car making out, and thank God we didn't take it any further because I see all of a sudden I see this bright light, and I look in the rear view, and it's a cop. Well, all I see is a spotlight, and at first I'm like, oh, what the fuck is going on here? And then they turn the lights on. I'm like, what? And then I look, and another cop car rolls up and pulls in front of me, so I can't leave. So like I'm 18 and like I don't know what to do. My windows are tinted, like it's not really a great look. So I roll the window down. I'm like my wife, my girlfriend, my now wife is in my lap, and I'm like, they're like, hey, what are you guys doing here? And they roll down the window. And I'm like, I roll down the window, like, what are you guys doing here? One of the cops is like on my side, and the other one's on my wife's window. And I'm like, oh, we're just talking. And they're like, oh yeah, you're just talking. They're like what they're like why'd you pick the park to talk? I'm like, I don't know, I can't talk, like like I'm like, because I know what I like, I don't have to fucking tell you shit.
Yeah.
So they're like, I'm like, just talking. They're like, oh, just talking. They're like, and they pull my wife out of the car, and they go, can we talk to you for a second? And she goes, sure. She's 17, she's scared. I'm 18. I'm like, what's going on? So she gets out the car. They're checking both of our IDs. I don't even think she has an ID because she has her whatever, her school ID.
Yeah.
And I hear the cop like 20 feet away from my car, like at talking to her and asking her questions. I hear like whisper, 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 and then my wife go, what? No. Whisper, whisper, whisper. No, what? No, he's my boyfriend. Whisper, whisper, whisper. No, no, I'm fine. Like, and then she comes back into the car. The other cop comes back around. He gives me ID back. They go, the park closes at 9. Go talk somewhere else. And then they leave. And I asked my wife, I'm like, what the fuck was going on? And she was like, apparently a lot of people have been getting raped in this park. And
Jesus.
they thought you were raping me. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna do that, now I know not to come here. So that's good.
Yeah,
Like
Jesus. Yo, it's like they just yeah. I mean,
they thought I was a big creep. But
like
I
just
was like,
because there was a car parked.
I know.
I mean,
I mean, at least they're checking. Good for
yeah,
them.
that it makes you feel like they actually care. Now, what
But that was
happens
like,
after you report it is a different story. But
I know. That was like my only, like, that was my other weird encounter I had with the cops.
yeah, that's that's so like scary that like they know that like people's minds, the way people's minds work is if they're going to control a woman, they like literally have to say like, "Are you sure? Are
Yeah,
you
they have to
sure?"
pull them out
Yeah,
of the
like yeah,
car, and
like is this you're here
yeah,
willingly? Like
yep,
um because like I mean that shit does go on and unfortunately
yeah.
it's very tragic. I don't know. Well, I guess so did they like did you feel at any point there you were going to be like potentially questioned or did they question you? You said
They questioned. I think they went straight to just question my wife because they
her.
don't
They
think
didn't
they.
ask you
Yeah, they
anything.
didn't
They
want
just
me
kind of
like. They were asking me like, "Why are you here?" And I said, "We're just talking." Because I told my wife, I said, "Let me do the talking. I know how to handle this."
went.
And of course she was being quiet. And I think that's also part of the question. They thought I was like speaking for her.
Hmm.
But it's a good thing. I mean, we have been in much worse case scenarios in my car, like where, but thank God they pulled up early because who knows what we were just making out at the time, but they pulled up as soon as we parked. So I was like, okay, at least we were decent when they caught us.
Yeah, that's always a nightmare.
Yeah. But when you're 18, you're 17, where else are you gonna, like you don't have any privacy.
sometimes if you just also like if you're single too and you're like don't have somewhere to go, you don't want to go to someone's house right away. I've done
Right.
car sessions
Yeah.
as an adult.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I've been out of the dating game for fucking 10 years now, so I don't
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like
It's
I'm
a
like back in my day, you know?
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, what you haven't made out in any alleys recently, Rob?
No, me and my wife did pull over and have sex on like the side of the highway.
Hell yeah.
Probably like it was probably like I think it was last summer. We were on the way home from the beach,
Okay.
and I was, just like fooling around with her like while I'm driving, and she's like, I'm ready to go if you are, and I was like, all right, just pulled right over, and all the cars, vroom, vroom, I got my blinkers on,
Hmm.
yeah. So now every time I pass a car, I'm like, I wonder if they're fucking, because like I never, because I don't think anybody would assume that,
Yeah.
but now I think it because I've done it, so I'm like, are they fucking?
I gave a hand job in front of the Washington Monument when I went to
Nice.
DC, and
That's patriotic as fuck.
I was gonna say I'm actually an American patriot
Yeah.
hero.
He fucking comes while fireworks are going off.
Yes.
That's funny. You should have got like a picture of his dick like next to the Washington Monument. Like you know how some
Yeah,
people,
yeah. No, I get it right
yeah,
away. It's a great idea, actually.
yeah,
um,
nice, good old fashioned hand job. Nice.
stick transmission does not lend itself well to that other thing that you can do in the car easily.
Doesn't translate. Yeah,
You got a e-brake and a stick, and I have big titties. That's the logistical problem there, is just
yeah,
trying to get around all that like machinery
that's tough. At
and
that point, you need.
not get seen in like a public place,
Oh yeah,
like where there's literally like people walking by on the street.
I was gonna say DC. There's like fucking cameras everywhere. You're
I
fucking
know.
brave.
It was nighttime.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think in DC that hinders their cameras. I don't think you were any less
I get
visual.
you.
They've
That's why I
definitely
said.
got night
That's why
vision.
I feel like I'm pretty, patriotic.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like the most American thing I've ever heard. It's like he was eating McDonald's while it was happening. I'd be like, damn.
yes, yes, exactly. All right. I don't know. What's your takeaway from almost being arrested?
Um,
Maybe twice.
I think my takeaway is
That you look like a criminal.
yeah, yeah. I looked like I
Wait,
was skinnier
yeah, I was
and
gonna say, was it you had shaved head?
I had a skinnier and a shaved head. So like
That's
I
what
was
school shooter,
definitely
Rob. School
definitely
shooter, Rob.
creepier looking. Yeah.
That's how
I
we
was
remembered
yeah.
you.
I'm trying to break away from it, but it's tough.
I mean,
Now I get called ma'am
yeah,
quite
well,
a
I was gonna
bit.
say lesbian aunt is like a good alternative, like the most
Yeah.
like benign version of a person
I think it's my mum
versus
glasses, I think
it's
I've
a
got
yeah, yeah.
you're like it's everything.
I mean,
I'm
look, you're gender binary. You're fluid.
gonna
Yeah.
start pretending to get pissed when people do it wrong. Like when
Yeah.
because it happens so often. I'm
You
just
should
like they're
start
like, hey,
recording it.
they're like I was at Staples. I was like, hey, like, can we help you, ma'am? And I looked up and
Staples is
they're
so
like,
funny.
yeah. They're like, I'm sorry, sir. And I'm like, it's fine. I get it all the time. And I like it happened to me and my wife we had brunch the other day, and I was like, I had my phone down to be fair.
Yeah.
And so you just saw my hair and you saw
Yes.
her sitting,
Hmm.
and they go, "Hey, ladies," and I looked up and like I'm so she was like got so red. She's like, "I'm so sorry." I was like, "Happens all the time. Don't worry about it." Like I
I
felt bad for her, so I like tipped her extra. I was
yeah.
like, "Don't, it's okay."
Sorry for your social faux pas. Here's 12
But
extra dollars.
yeah, I'm gonna start fucking with them though. I'm gonna be like, "What'd you say?"
Get like feisty. Excuse
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
Excuse me? And
Give him a heart attack.
yeah, they will panic. You will see the panic in someone's eyes so fast.
I
I
know, because
think.
I've had that happen to me before where I fucked up and I'm like, I promise I'm not.
No,
Yeah.
it's really funny. I like your transition to like from skinny school shooter to the midway point to like the future like jacked scary carrot top type
Yeah.
character you're gonna
Yeah.
become
Working on
someday.
it.
I see
I
it
want to be
coming
like,
through. I see it
I want to be
coming
like
through.
carrot top with like a beer belly, you know?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's lots of surgeries and stuff if you want to get abs installed.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna start doing that.
um, I don't. I think we'll have to take a break before we
That's
get
fine.
to your other story. So,
Yeah.
um, is there Anything else about those two stories that make you think you could future get arrested in the future again? You have a tendency to look like someone who gets arrested. Maybe you get like Karen out on somebody one of these times. And
Well,
like,
I honestly don't know because like I've been loud and annoying in public when I've been drunk, and like I don't. I think like I did. So it's funny you say that. I got pulled over last night on my way home from Virginia because I have my headlights out, and I passed a state
oh,
trooper, and I was like, he's gonna see it, and he's
yeah.
gonna fucking pull
You
me
just had them
over.
off or they're out.
That would well, my one left one works fine, and the other one is out.
Okay.
So
So
it's just
just
out
one.
completely. So I
I've
only
got,
have one
yeah.
headlight,
Okay.
and
Well, good.
so I passed him,
Yeah.
and I was also like, he was going so fucking slow, and I was like, I gotta go around him. He's going too slow. So I went around him, and then he pulls me over, and he like I guess I didn't pull over far enough on the off ramp, so I'm waiting for him like for at this window at my driver's side window, and then he knocks on my passenger window and scares the shit out of me. So and I'm like, I roll the window down because I guess he obviously he doesn't want to get hit by traffic or whatever.
Mhm.
And he's like, hey man, he's like going a little fast there, and you got your headlight out. He's like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, I immediately went into like defensive mode. I was like, I'm a comedian. I'm coming home
Number one
from
excuse. I always
yeah,
use
yeah.
it every time.
I'm from a comedian coming home from a gig. I just, like I haven't had time to get it fixed. And he's like, oh, you're doing like 77. What's going on? And I was like, dude, I was just trying to get home, man. I'm tired. And he's like, oh, you're a comedian, huh? And then we just bullshitted about comedy for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, this is how you get out of it. And
That's
then he gave me a warning. He was really nice. I gave him my Instagram. He's like, all right, well, he's like, maybe I'll look you up. And I was like, yeah, just message me. Be like, I'm the one who fucking pulled you over. And in my head, I'm like, thank God he didn't ask if I had been drinking because I had, I wasn't like drunk, but like I had like three Coors Lights
sure.
before I went on stage. But that was like, I mean, Virginia's a 4 hour drive, so that was like, I
Yeah.
was an hour away from home, so it had been like 5 hours, but like I was still like nervous because I don't like drink and drive, so it was like, but he was a cool guy, so yeah,
Um,
so he was like, yeah, he was one of the more, yeah. So it's funny that I didn't
you
even
have
think
that
about that.
you have a propensity to get in trouble, but then get out of it.
I know
You got a
I'm like
weird
a
kind of luck.
yeah. I guess I'm charismatic to the cops.
Yeah, that could be, and I think honestly that's literally the few times I have gotten pulled over, I feel like I was at least at a mic.
Yeah,
So I was just like, oh, I was downtown on a show
just
and
doing comedy.
yeah,
Yeah,
just oh, just doing comedy. That's all.
because
And I wanted to
they don't know what a mic is.
especially because I'm always like at Wawa. That's where they got me. Like I was pulling over,
Uh,
and it was my headlight was out the one time, and I had just gotten inspected. I guess it went out after I got inspected,
that
and I
sucks.
didn't know, and it was 1 in the morning or something. So of course I look suspicious.
Yeah,
But
yeah. That's what it was for me. I was coming home, and it was like, yeah, like one. It was like 12:30 or something.
yeah, one time I got out of a ticket by knowing fancy IPAs
Oh, nice.
because I was like at a studio when we used to do music at, and driving home, not even a quarter mile or so from my house. And like, I just didn't stop all the way at a set of like three stop signs in a row behind a shopping center that I cut through.
Oh,
And it's kind of
gotcha.
just like, you know what I mean? It's late at night. There's no one
Yeah,
fucking
it's like fuck it.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah. I just kind of didn't. I have a stick. So it's annoying to come all the way to
right.
a stop. And like, so whatever I didn't, he goes, oh, you didn't stop at that last stop sign back there. And I go, oh, it's just late. I'm just tired. I just want to get home. And then he was like, oh, well, smells like you've been drinking, blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
Made me do a breathalyzer
uh-huh.
and I was over.
Oh no.
And then I was like, oh, I was just in the studio. I had like a mad elf. Shout out mad elf. But I had a mad elf and he goes, oh, where'd you get that around here? And I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
oh, whatever, takeout, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, all right, look, since you're on the way home and you're right near your house, like I should arrest you because like you blew over the limit like by a lot. I forget what it
Oh.
was, but I'm like, but it was because I had just chugged the bottom of a beer, I
Oh
think. So it was
no.
like
That
on
sucks.
my, yeah, it was like in my mouth still.
Yeah.
And that they're 12% or whatever they are.
Yeah.
So it was like the really strong ones. And so I don't know. Yeah, comedy now though. Naeem said the same thing. Comedy. I think we might have said it on his episode. If you're anybody out there, use it. feel free
Yeah.
to use that
Start
excuse.
doing
If you
comedy, it'll save
just
you.
start a page, even if you don't do shows, just get AI pictures of yourself on stage
Yeah,
and
get a green screen.
load up. You think that's gonna be a thing? People just like make AI videos of themselves doing stand up?
I think AI is gonna fucking ruin entertainment soon. Not within the next like 6 months or like a
No.
year, but like 5 years. I think it's good now. I think we're gonna get to a point where AI is making better AI, and that's when it's gonna be like iRobot like
Sketchy.
type shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like where they're
And
like, you can't believe what's anything is real at
yeah,
one point.
eventually you're gonna have digital comedians who can like math who just like are able to like evaluate comedy and figure out like here's the formula. I don't know. Like,
Well, it's like when
but
engineers do comedy. They're so smart
yeah,
that they think it can just be a plus and a minus.
yeah. I
But
mean, it definitely takes a little bit of creativity, but who knows where technology will go.
yeah, I don't know. See, like I don't really think about it overly too much because here's the thing is like comedy people, the algorithm itself made comedy suddenly after COVID. I feel personally, I was thinking about this the other day, that the mainstream audience of humans got introduced to this little thing called stand-up comedy that the rest of us who are fans have known about since the 70s, 80s, whenever, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? When stand-up comedy picked up and took off and we think everybody knows everything we know when we're comedy fans, especially when we're doing
right.
comedy. And I'll say stuff to my regular friends and like they have no idea who I'm talking about and I'll think it's somebody famous.
Yeah.
Like so we're niche as it is. So what TikTok and stuff and the algorithm did was create this, the people that like very basic jokes
Mm-hmm.
are out there. The people watching ABC Family at night when they go turn on their dinner meal and they
Yeah.
like they wouldn't like actual stand-up comedy. They would like AI generated
Yeah.
stand-up
And
comedy.
that's
And
and
that's
that's
fine.
also yeah. I think that's also what the algorithm favors too, because people have such short attention spans.
That's what it is.
So it's a lot of like set up
Mhm.
punchline jokes that people really like.
Yeah.
Whereas when you go into a story, like if you don't hook them within like the first like 5 seconds, they're just gonna keep scrolling.
Yep.
So
Yeah, you
um yeah. And also I
it's
think that one of the downsides of that is I think like now, especially with some of the most viral people or videos are like I got heckled, like owning a heckler or stuff like that. So like now people think when they scroll through comedy, they're like part of the show. They could like fuck with the
yes.
comics.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that doesn't really help either, but
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
That's I was talking to Ben Mayer uh
Okay.
recently and he was saying that exact and I've said it and it draws people in to think it's interactive and I think they should
Yeah.
start honestly offering like like shows that are like that for people and
Yeah.
then the original version where it's a performance and you make it interactive but then there's that weird gray line where people don't understand
Yeah.
where they especially because they're seeing it as like, well, I can get famous as part of this clip if I'm funny in the
Right.
audience. I'm that
Yeah.
person in that. And it's like that,
They think they're part of the show.
yeah, it's like that weird like Andy Warhol prediction or whatever that everyone would have 15 minutes of fame in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And like being part of the show is this weird, like amongst stand-up comedians, weird now changing amorphous kind of thing because it's like not everybody's like that. That's
Yeah.
not everyone's style, is it, for it to be interactive?
Yeah.
It's
I think some
really stand up
yeah.
itself is really you say it, your jokes, you tell your jokes.
Some
And
people are able to handle it better than others for sure.
yeah, well, because it's an interruption technically to
Yeah.
talk during the show. And you wouldn't go to a theater performance and chime
Right.
in on like a Broadway play. Like he's over there. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? And like it would get a laugh. That would get a huge laugh. That filming of that
Mm.
would go viral if you got a huge laugh pop at like a Broadway show and you interrupted. Guess you're getting tossed out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to understand that the reason anyone ever had to deal with interaction with a crowd member was because they either asked the question to them, which that's still fine. If you ask the
Right.
question, that's you doing that as the person on stage. That's part of your what you're doing. But for people that yell out to then have to be able to handle someone is a fantastic skill. And I love when I can see it happen live,
Yeah.
especially if something so silly goes on at a show. And like uh Dan Soder when he was at Helium last year, somebody referenced like Sean Gardini's opening host joke.
No, that's funny.
it was funny to the rest of us, but Soder was so funny because he goes, "Do you think I listen to what they're saying out here while I'm in the green room?" Like, hey, Sean, that great joke was great, man. And he's like, but then he proceeded to deal with the person in like really great way otherwise. But
Okay.
like it's we have to remember crowd and comics. It's dealing with someone who is there interrupting what you go to open mics to work on, to do your punch, to learn your jokes that you're trying to make long. When you're trying to do an hour, if you're going to do all crowd work, that's fine. You just do that. You can just work on that. You can have that. But if you're trying to do typical stand up where it's written out or jokes or structured format things, those people still want those rooms where they can go and just be quiet, get on stage and not have to worry
Yeah.
about dealing with a heckler or this
Right.
demolishing one as much of a, I don't know. I guess it's like I never really get heckled, so I don't know.
Gotcha.
But all right. We've got less than a minute left. So we're
Yeah.
gonna come back with your final story
Okay.
and
Sounds
then
good.
some fun articles I have to go with that.
Nice.
All
Sweet.
right. See you here in a few. All right. Round three.
Hell
Fight.
yeah. I got a
uh
snack.
what'd you get? Oh, okay. The beer
Yeah.
snack.
Yeah. Hang on.
Yo, okay,
Nah,
chocolate hazelnut.
I'm just kidding. That's a prop.
No, that's funny. You're
I
damn
we
it, the carrot top, the prophecy. It's
Oh
coming
damn, you're
true.
right. Fuck.
Don't.
The, I start pulling like I don't know, like chocolate out of this.
Something.
Mhm.
Uh, um, no, that's great. I
Yeah. My mom loves chocolate, so when we came back from Hershey, we bought like a big box of Hershey bars.
okay.
I'll give this back to her when I'm done playing with it.
When you're done being a prop comic, your
Yeah.
future. You're just on roids
Yeah.
in
That's my
Vegas,
that's
Tony
my
Vegas.
I'm working on finding my voice.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, sure. Hey, listen, I'm sure that
mhm,
man is paid well.
probably.
I loved Carrot Top as a kid when he was Carrot Top, and then I got scared of him once I was like 20, and I was like, "Oh no, he's terrifying. His eyebrows. What's wrong
Yeah,
with
he's like
him?
way too ripped.
He's way too ripped and too Botoxy in the face."
Yeah.
And to
That's
just
why yeah, that's why I drink beer because I don't want to get too jacked, you know? I'm like I gotta keep a low profile.
yeah, and I don't know this answer. I haven't looked it up. I should. Do you know if does he still do prop comedy or did he just try to do like regular stand up? I thought I heard.
I have no idea. I'd be disappointed if I showed up and he didn't at least do a little bit of props, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like that's his like signature.
does anybody actively do prop comedy besides the puppeteer comics these days?
Oh, I don't know.
Right?
There's a couple. I mean, there's a
That's niche.
couple.
That's niche
Yeah,
niche.
there's a couple I know like comics in the Philly circuit
Doesn't count. No, I
who,
mean like
yeah.
someone getting paid to do comedy well
Oh no, 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 no.
on TV and stuff.
Yeah, not that I can think of.
No, exactly. It's a dying art.
I know if you can
Maybe like
execute prop comedy well, it's impressive.
maybe I'll bring it back. I don't know. Start pulling stuff out of my titties. Like
I think you get a big following.
TikTok.
Yeah, yeah.
um so all right. Let's get into this last story of yours.
Okay.
It was 4:20 when I just looked at the clock.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
uh tell me because I got bit by a dog one time at like a junkyard and I thought I was gonna get rabies.
Oh, they didn't make you do it or anything. You didn't have to get shots or anything.
Oh, I just ran and went home and like put
Oh,
antibiotic on it. Didn't
oh,
tell
you're like
anybody.
you're super lucky. So my rabies story. I was me and my family, we used to vacation at this RV park every summer. And me and my buddy who lived in the RV would like well, you know, whatever, stayed in the RV next door. We were like, I think I was like, I don't know, it must have been like 10 or something, but we were like running around and just like, you know, playing outside. And there was this cat, this orange cat that like kept coming up to us. And we would like chase it around and it would run away. And then that kind of became a thing like all day. The cat just kept showing up and we kept chasing this cat around. And then at one point, my buddy's dad called him inside. So he goes, I'll be right back. He runs inside. So I'm sitting outside waiting for him. And then the cat comes up like super close to me. And I'm like, oh, hey, buddy, what's up? And I bend down and like it was like shivering. And I was like, oh, he's cold, which doesn't make sense because it was fucking like 85 degrees. It was the summer. So, but in my dumb idiot head, I was like, oh, he's cold. So I started petting him and he was like sneezing, the cat. He's
Oh
like, oh.
God.
I was like, oh, this poor cat's sick. And I'm petting it or whatever.
Oh. Wait,
And
how old are
then
you again?
I was like, I think I was 10, but for the sake of the
Okay.
story, I want to say I was 8.
8
Just
went in
to,
my head when you said it.
yeah, I was probably
Do
8.
not be disgusted by a little cat's gross sneeze and immediately throw the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to be
So I
my
was,
grandmom or 8 years old.
yeah. Well, I look like your grandma, so
And you go shave
I
your hair.
so I was petting the cat and it was sneezing, and I was like, oh, poor guy. And it never bit me, but it was like wet, I guess, because it was, I don't know, like it was like my hands were gross because I
It
guess it was like
sounds
it was
it's just
yeah, because sorry, my mom's phone's ringing right now. My mom has a cell phone that she never uses, so it just sits there like a house phone
yes.
and never gets picked up. Whatever. I
It's kind of jazzy. It's kind of
Yeah,
like this
but
is elevator music.
but so anyway, I like my hands are all gross from petting this cat, and then the cat runs away. I just whatever. I was just like fucking like wipe on my pants, and then my I go back into my buddy's house because he hasn't come out for a while, and he's like whatever, like eating a snack, whatever. And I was like, hey, I was petting the cat outside, and he was like, oh, really? That's cool. And I was like, yeah. And we're hanging out for a little bit, and the next thing I know, like 10 minutes later, we get a knock on the RV park door, and it's the owner of the RV park, and he comes up and he's like, "Hey, we're just letting everybody know that there is a rabid cat loose in the park." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And they're like, "Yeah, so keep an eye out for like a bright orange cat." And I was like, "I was just petting that cat 10 minutes ago." And they're like, "You were what?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was petting the cat." And they're like, "Well, did it bite you?" And I was like, no, it was cold. It was shivering and sneezing. And they're like, what the fuck? So they walk me over to my parents, my RV, and they're talking to my parents, and they're like, look, your son came in contact with a rabid cat. He says he didn't get bit, but he was petting it. And if it is, the chances are small, but if he were to like rub his eye or
Yeah,
something, and
fate.
like the
Yeah.
saliva got in his eye or something,
Mm-hmm.
he could get rabies.
Sure.
So we need to, he's gonna need to get rabies shots. And I'm 8, so I'm like, shots? No, that doesn't sound fun. I'm like, do we have to? And my parents like, we'll look into it. And my dad called the hospital, and he was like, because they were like going back and forth when I should get shots. My dad calls the hospital, and he's like, so my son came in contact with rabies. Like, we don't want to put him through because it's like 16 shots. It's like a lot.
I've heard of it. Yeah, I've
And
heard of the series.
yeah,
It's just
I had to get 2 in my butt. I'll get to that. But
yeah.
my dad calls the hospital and he goes, my son, he really doesn't, obviously he's 8. He doesn't want to go through this. It'd be traumatizing. They're like, do we really have to do this? He wasn't bit. And the word for word, the lady, she said, you can either get your son these shots for his rabies, or you can buy him flowers for his funeral. And my
Jesus.
dad was like, you didn't have to fucking just say yes. Just say,
Yeah.
you don't have to be that brutal. So
What sitcom does this lady or TV like
exactly. Yeah.
Kalisha?
She's like auditioning. And because the thing with rabies shots is like you have to get them before you develop. Once you start seeing symptoms of having rabies,
It's
it's
like
too
too
late.
late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're fucked. There's like 2 cases of people surviving rabies, and they had to like be put into a medical coma and basically be killed and then brought back to life.
Jesus.
It's like 2 cases maybe where it actually, but anyway. So my parents explained to me the best they can to an 8-year-old. They're like, buddy, you gotta get these shots. I'm like, but I don't want to. And they're like,
Yeah.
you need the shots.
Yeah.
So the first session, I had like 2 in my butt and then like 2 in my arm or whatever. And it was like the shots themselves aren't that painful, but the medicine that they use burns so fucking bad.
Ooh.
So it's hard. It's really a horrible pain. But I had to do that, and then I had to get a shot like once a week for like the next, like I think like 6 to 7 weeks over the course of a summer. So like my
Mm.
whole summer,
You
I'm just like counting, like
all
just
fucked up
trying not
on
to think,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
trying not to think of the, oh shit, I gotta get a shot in 3 days, like
Yeah.
and it really sparked my fear of like needles, like, or like getting shots. Like I have a bunch of tattoos, but that's different.
That's different. That's different.
um, but like even to this day, when I go to the doctors, I'm like, okay, we're just gonna give you a quick needle or a quick shot, or like we have to draw blood. I still like, I'm like, I don't, okay, like, but that really, I mean, from like the age of like 8 to like 16, I was just like petrified of of needles. It was really traumatizing. And then for years and still sometimes I have like dreams that like I come in contact with like a rabid raccoon
Oh,
and I have to like get rabies shots again. And then I wake up and I'm like, it's a reoccurring nightmare that I have, honestly.
yeah.
But it was terrifying. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't had one of those in a long time, reoccurring nightmares. But do you think it's like you fear more the like another rabid animal, or your brain subconsciously is still stuck on just the idea of getting needles jabbed in and the pain of the medicine?
I think it's both. I think
Yeah.
because it was like such a traumatizing thing. Like I think I was at the grape room the other day and a raccoon walked out from like behind the trash cans
Oh.
and was like and I just saw it and I was like, fuck that, I'm going inside. Like I'm not like because and even on TikTok, like you scroll far enough, you'll see videos like rabid raccoon attacks lady or
I've
whatever.
seen a
Like I
few.
saw
I've seen a few.
a ring doorbell of like somebody getting attacked, and I'm just like, it doesn't help when I'm scrolling through that at night and then I go to bed. And then
Yeah.
I fucking yeah. So that's like it's just it. I think part of me. I mean, yeah, part of me is just still scared of that. That's why I think it's my brain just when I'm goes to that for nightmare mode.
Yeah. I think I read something that what did you say earlier? Sleep paralysis
Oh yeah, that's even scarier.
but it's like it's your it's a reflection of your mental state, not your physical state. And nightmares, I think, come in when we have like fears. They're just
Yeah,
fears that just
I
like
think.
crop up.
Also, side note, I think I
Mm.
have my mom's in the kitchen like doing the dishes. I'm not. There's not too much noise in the background, is it?
I don't think I heard too much.
Okay.
I
All
mean,
right. Good.
honestly, my rule is I set up my sound because it's my podcast. So if mine is clear, nobody can get mad at my guest for having shoddy production.
Okay. As long
Or
as it's
they
fine.
can, but honestly, fuck off.
As long as it here sounds good on your end.
It's
But
a
I'm
Zoom
sorry.
podcast in the first place, which, if I had an
Yeah.
alternative, I would do it. But then, it's just where we start sometimes.
Yeah.
And
So I didn't mean to interrupt. What were you saying about the
uh
sleep paralysis?
oh, it's a mental state. It's a reflection of a mental state. So nightmares are interesting to me. Every once in a while I'll have one, but only if I was really like off put or triggered by something, not to use
Yeah.
that like buzzword, but like if something made me think about something traumatic from my past. Like
Yeah.
I had a drowning thing as like a kid when I was like 5-ish.
Okay.
And it's I do hear forks hitting plates.
Yeah.
Like my
Sorry.
grandma, my grandma will do stuff like that here sometimes. So that's why I don't mind going later sometimes with podcasts because people are asleep. But
Hmm.
it's fine. It's background noise. I don't think anyone will get too mad at it.
Yeah. How dare them?
I'll edit that part out. Just that one fork tap that I stopped for a second and heard it. Because if both of us are talking, it's not so much if there's any dead air
Yes,
or
we just have
shit.
to keep talking for the
But
rest of the
anyway, because like you had a
podcast.
really traumatic experience as a child, that's latent in there somewhere. And I understand that because my only nightmares I ever have are me driving a car into water, which I think I maybe died in another life like that or something.
Oh
Because
yeah.
that really terrifies me. And then shut up, mom. Like, I just hear it over your shoulder. No, but yeah, that gets me drowning every once in a while. I'll have like a water trapped underwater dream and water boards, like in Call of Duty when you have to do under the water and like hold your breath.
Oh
There
yeah.
was like a blueprint we were trying to unlock on a gun, and it involves going in like a certain room and
Oh.
like you got to swim down, and you need a rebreather, which I'm not good at using. And
Hmm.
anyway, when you drown in that, I go like I'm really drowning because I
Yeah.
had and then I had a couple weird like water dreams after that. So like you said, watching the video on TikTok before bed of seeing just a raccoon,
Yeah.
even if it's just suspected to be rabid. Um,
So you and I have different definitions of wet dreams then. That's the worst joke I've ever made. It's
you
okay.
like coming out of the eyes more,
Yeah.
waking up bawling,
Hell
face coming.
yeah.
That's what Dan Silver calls it. Uh, so anyway, with the rabies in mind, I don't
Hmm.
I'm gonna unscare you. We're gonna get out of your
Okay.
nightmares. We're gonna get out of your
Thank you.
nightmares here. I don't want you to have a nightmare tonight thinking about it because we talked about it so much. Make sure you don't look at any videos of any type of street animals at all.
Yeah,
Cats,
I'm just gonna stay.
nothing.
Well, my phone it's probably listening to me right now. I'm
You
gonna open it up.
Actually, yeah, I know. Actually, I looked at something earlier. I looked at something this weekend, and then it was in my algorithm. Like
Oh,
I
really?
thought it in my head. I thought it in my head. I looked at it with my eyeballs,
That's
and it did
crazy.
not say one word about it.
The
I
5G towers are reading our minds.
I believe that we're firmly enmeshed in the web consciousness and the way people can read my thoughts in real life sometimes because I'm above the elevated to that level, unfortunately, where people can do that. Uh,
Yeah,
the they're going into the phones because it can hear your words. It's
right.
designed it's purposely designed to hear what you say and do that to your algorithms. The
Yeah.
security technology companies have admitted that. So the way thoughts work, I believe, is that they broadcast on a frequency that our human ears just can't hear. You have to
Mm.
be in that state of awakening to get there, or you have to have extrasensory perception like gifts, like you know what I mean, or you have to be, I don't know what, but I think they,
That's why my porn recommendation is so accurate.
honest to God, I never knew I liked Step Brothers so much in my entire life. I don't even have one. Um, no, but I think it leaves your head as words. And
Yeah,
that's part of the thing that people don't understand as words come out of your head when you think them. Even so, if you think negatively about something, it's gonna create negative.
yeah.
And
It's like a
so
it's a whole thing with like manifesting too.
that's what it is. That's what it is all behind there. And I hate to use that like term too. Some people go, oh, blah, blah, but it's because you're thinking words out loud
Yeah, yeah,
and they leave your body in a form and the phone can catch it. The
yeah.
phones are can catch it. That's
It's
just
always so important to stay positive.
yes, or just only think about things you want to be seen in your algorithm by your family and friends when you pass away eventually, and they have to go in your phone.
Exactly. Yeah. They're like, why is it all rabies vaccines?
Why is it all anti-rabies vaccine
It's
propaganda?
rabies vaccines and like cop ads. Oh,
Yeah, so let me, there we go. 15
nice.
obscure and little known facts about rabies.
Great.
All right.
I need to know more about it.
Rabies is a viral disease. That's why when the person told your family if you accidentally touched the saliva and then touched your eyes, that's how viruses are spread,
You literally
people.
turn into a zombie. It's scary.
Yes, because it goes right to your brain, especially if it goes through your eyeballs. That's like direct, like right to your nervous system and stuff.
Yep.
So pets who are unvaccinated can get threatening, blah, blah, blah. It's a zoonotic disease, means it can be transmitted from animals to humans and or vice versa. So if you're rabid and you go fuck a cow or eat its pussy, I guess you can give it to the cow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I don't
this
think.
this is
Oh,
gonna
it's
this is gonna scare you. According to the
okay.
U.S. CDC, statistics show that Pennsylvania had an 11% increase in rabbit animals
Oh,
from the previous
fantastic.
year. PA is the number one state for rabbit cats.
Wow.
In fact,
Yeah.
62% more than Virginia, which is the second highest number of confirmed
I was
cases.
just in both of those states
That's where the
these
guy I'm
past two
dating
days.
lives.
Wow, that's spooky.
I go there all the time.
It's like rabid cats are in your house. I'm like, what?
Rabies can infect any warm-blooded animal or mammal. So
Yeah, that's why I'm not scared of birds. I'm like, they ain't got it.
yeah, or whales. They don't really get
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Uh,
fish. That
fish.
would
They're not.
suck, dude. If you could you catch a fish and it fucking bites you, you're like, great.
You're like worst piranha ever.
Yeah,
Worse than the original, the OG that just bites you. There is no cure for it. Almost always fatal. Once, like you said, its symptoms begin to manifest, an infected animal usually dies within 5 to 10 days. I thought it was shorter than that myself. Most
yeah,
cases of the humans occur in rural areas. That makes sense. Out in the sticks, where healthcare facilities and effective treatments, such as vaccines and immunoglobulins, globulins, are not readily accessible or available. So that makes sense. You were camping. It's
yep.
terrifying.
Oh yeah,
Disease affects both domestic and wild animals and is spread to people with close contact infected materials, which is bites, scratches, saliva, blood contact, or an existing open wound. Early symptoms include fever, pain, and or tingling sensation around the wound.
yep,
If a person or animal has contact through thorough cleansing of any wounds within a few hours can prevent the onset of the disease. Another obscure and little known fact about rabies is that its incubation period, which is the time gap between exposure to disease, we learned about this during COVID. People remember your schooling, and
mm-hmm,
the onset of symptoms can vary greatly. That seems to be like a lot of viruses.
yeah,
The older I get, in general, the incubation period is usually 3 to 8 weeks. However, it can be as short to as 5 to 9 days, or as long as several years in some cases. The incubation period can depend on several factors, including the animal and or the person's immune system, the location of the wound and the severity of the wound. Given that it attacks the brain and the central nervous system, the farther the wound is from that area, the incubation period will be longer. That's why it's so dangerous. Like I said,
Yeah, if you like rub your eyes, whatever.
exactly right in there. So, uh, there's no way to test an alive animal. No, yeah, there's no way to test an alive animal. You have to kill whatever it is if it bit
Yeah,
you. So that's why like they have to put a cat down, I guess, or whatever. If an animal is suspected of being infected with the disease and has bitten a human or another domestic animal, it must undergo a 10-day quarantine period. I'm not quarantining an animal. I'm just putting that thing down.
yeah,
No,
absolutely.
I'm not sick. It can last up to 6 months in certain circumstances. We're not doing this. We're not dealing with
Yeah.
this. 95% of human deaths from disease occur in Africa and Asia, where access, obviously, to healthcare facilities treatment is limited. Dogs are the primary source of human rabies deaths in Africa and Asia. Bats are the main in the Americas.
Oh, that's a spooky one, dude. Because
Yeah.
the scary thing about bats is like if you live in like a really rural area and like one
Mhm.
flies through your window,
Yeah.
it could like bite your ankle.
Ooh.
And the bats like are like so like their like bites are so tiny you might not notice. So I've
Okay.
heard stories of people who like get rabies and like don't even know they were bit by a bat, which is like
Oh,
extra the scariest version of that.
because they're like rats with wings.
Yeah, I know it's terrifying.
So
And
they're not.
I live in suburban Pennsylvania, and I'll be sitting outside, and you can tell when it's a bird,
Yeah.
but like a bat's flight patterns are very specific. So I've seen bats like fly through the
We get
trees. And
bats. We get bats where
yeah,
I live. Yeah.
yeah, they're fucking. I hate them,
Because we
dude.
have trees and like a
Yeah,
waterway. So we definitely have bats, owls.
yeah,
Yeah, I've heard that before, but I think I forgot that until reading this right now. And like, yeah, so that's the number one. But like, here's this is actually make you feel better. Meanwhile, human deaths linked to it are from other common ones like raccoons, skunks, foxes, jackals, except mongooses. That's not common. Are quite rare. So
okay,
the raccoons and stuff, they're not usually. I've heard when they have rabies, they're so scared and sick they don't want to be anywhere near any human. That's usually a threat to them.
gotcha.
Let's see here. If a human received a wound from a rabid animal, they must undergo treatment with post-exposure prophylaxis, which is the series of vaccinations that you talked about. More than 15 million get the vaccinations every year. It's terrible.
Yeah, God bless
Uh,
those people.
I guess you can get the vaccine first. They're saying it's a vaccine that you can like have it already, but who wants to go sign up for 15 needles if
Yeah,
you have it?
yeah, don't get it unless you need to.
And finally, there are two forms of rabies: the aggressive form, e.g., foaming at the mouth and acting violently, versus the dumb form. This is when a wild or domestic animal is acting out of character. A prime example is nocturnal animals. Example: bats, skunks, raccoons are out in the daytime, dazed, confused, and often lethargic.
Yeah.
And I've definitely seen that type raccoon around my house.
Oh yeah, where they're just like they're wandering around outside. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not spooky.
And this makes sense now that I'm reading it. A little known fact is that it's present on nearly every continent with the exception of Antarctica. Obviously, they're mammals. It's too cold for them to live on the surface down there.
Yeah.
Most of the things that carry it, since it's warm-blooded mammals, that would make sense. And it's been reported in every state except Hawaii.
Oh wow.
So that might
So
be your safe
Hawaii is the
haven.
safest place.
It's the next sentence is if someone has an overwhelming fear in regards to contracting the illness. I think we just found your destiny, Rob.
Yeah, dude.
Now you
I've
can't laugh out loud in Hawaii, so comedy is not a thing.
yeah.
Hawaii might be the safe haven though. Yeah, it's most prevalent along the East Coast from Florida to Maine and southern Arizona along the Mexican border.
I'm gonna bring a raccoon to Hawaii and infect the whole state.
Yeah,
It's not fair. They get to have beautiful weather,
and
beaches, and
no
no
rabies
rabies. Yeah, fuck them. Well, I mean, they are closest for a missile attack, so you know.
and volcanoes are set to go off any moment and just burn the whole joint down.
Yeah. So I
You
guess it's
know,
a kind of a trade-off.
yeah, they got that plastic beach now because everyone likes to
Well, that's
throw their water
great.
bottles.
Well, now I know that Hawaii is my safe haven. It's good.
Safe haven, and then all right to make this even. I thought when I was thinking about this, I went okay. Well, dogs usually get rabies.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring another article about dogs, and I have this one where a Japanese man spent $15,700 on a dog costume to fulfill his lifelong dream of transforming into an animal.
Oh, this is a much more uplifting
Right?
article.
This is great. Look at this
Is
last
that the
one.
picture of the
This is
man? That's not
him.
him,
This
right?
is
That's
him.
him.
This is him.
Oh my God. Imagine if that thing started talking and
Let
you
me
were
make it full
high.
screen. I know it's full screen.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Oh, the eyes look
The
scary.
face. The face is where you can tell
Face is terrifying. If it was like, hey,
because
what's up?
the body's just a nice fur coat. Like that's easy to
Yeah.
do. To fulfill his lifelong dream of transforming into an animal, a Japanese man spent 2 million yen, approximately 15,709. That's a nice Toyota truck right there.
Yeah.
on a realistic border collie costume. For his costume, the man Toko commissioned a Japanese company called Zeppet, which specializes in sculptures and models for movies, commercials, and amusement facilities, as well as TV costumes and mascots. The costume took reportedly 40 days to create, and it also went through multiple rounds of revisions, including meetings and fittings for the costume, like a
Jesus.
bride, like a
Oh,
fancy bride.
you're here for the dog
You're,
outfit? Right
you're,
this way.
you're do you need us to take in the hips again,
Yeah,
sir?
okay, we're just gonna measure the nose real
Yeah.
quick.
In an interview with My Navi, Toko explained that he chose a border collie costume as the long hair can mislead the human figure.
Okay.
I made it a collie because it looks real when I put it on. My
Oh, so he
favorite,
doesn't want to be caught as a dog. That's interesting. He's like,
yeah,
oh, okay. It's kind
he
of
wants it
creepy.
when because it looks real when I put. He wants pets. He wants pets
Okay.
is the answer.
This dude wants to get
He wants
fucked by a
secret
dog.
pets, or he wants like secret pets at the park from someone. Like
Yeah.
he wants to be out there like dancing around.
Thanks. That'd be so weird. You pet dogs. Like, thanks, dude.
He might get want to get humped by a dog now that you mention
Yeah.
it, and have that be okay and not be
Yeah.
bestiality. He might be
He's
trying to
trying
skirt the rules there.
trying to sniff some butts and get away with it.
Yeah, I made it a collie because it looks real when I put it on. My favorite is quadrupedal animals, especially cute ones. Among them, I thought that a big animal close to me would be good, considering that it would be a realistic model. So I decided to make it a dog, Toko said. I met such a condition and made my collie my favorite breed of dog.
Nice.
Okay, a Zeppet employee said that creating the costume was difficult as it requires a significant amount of time to study how the dog's figure can correspond with the human figure. The point is that the skeleton of a dog could be reproduced in the skeleton of a human. Since the structure of a skeleton is very different, we spent a lot of time studying how to make it look like a dog.
This feels like the beginning of a Black Mirror episode. And
Yeah,
then he can't leave the dog outfit. Like he
he's
gets
stuck
stuck
in
in
there.
it.
He gets like
Yeah.
stuck in there. Definitely. Is that not
Yeah.
already one? Because we just
That's either
really
that.
we
That's either
screwed
Black
it.
Mirror.
Get the
It's
AI on
Black.
the line. Get GPT
Yeah.
fired up.
Either Black Mirror or a fucking Adam Sandler movie. One of the two.
One of the two.
I'm
That's
telling
it.
you, I'm a dog.
Yeah. He's 55 years old in there, bent
Hmm.
over on his
Adam
hands and knees.
Sandler this summer. Who let the dogs out? I don't know.
That's I heard
It's a
them
million
coming
dollar
together.
movie.
Honestly, just make that fake promo like trailer and put it on YouTube. It'll get 10 million
Oh
views.
yeah.
um this is weird. They're talking about how they collect different photos of the coat so
Oh,
they
is
can
there a
give the
video?
coat. Let's see here. Yeah. Toko posted a video to his YouTube channel. Oh, we can
Can
follow
we watch
Toko.
it?
Yeah, where he tries the border collie costume, making dog-like motions. Let's see here.
Oh, this is gonna give me. And I have a new nightmare now. Fuck
Yeah.
rabies.
We have to watch an ad for pet advertisements. The dog
That's so
lover.
funny.
I know. There we
You're
go.
like, in case your husband wants.
Oh, we're gonna make it.
Oh, that's so weird and human.
Oh,
Like,
I don't like it. It's Uncanny Valley, but it's Unfurry Valley.
yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
And the face is so dead.
oh,
The face being so. Oh my God.
oh.
If you showed me this video, I'd be like, that's a rabid dog.
I should have put this on for everyone when they were tripping the other day.
Oh my God. This
Oh,
is like
I'm mesmerized.
this
I
would
need
be
to watch
the.
this on full screen later.
I want to see him, but I want to see him do human stuff in that outfit, like
Oh,
playing PlayStation. Like sitting on the couch, like upright.
no, he would have to be sitting like this, like the dog stance with the like paws down and on his back behind legs because he doesn't want it to look human.
Oh my goodness.
He wants when he rolls over, he's got the roll up. He's got the roll up
He's
pretty
been
good.
well, here's the thing. He's been practicing without the outfit for like
Oh,
10
for
years.
sure. With like a regular furry costume,
Yeah.
probably that they would wear, like close
He's got a
enough.
he's got a rug wrapped around him.
He's way more than like the military guy that was like the dog mask and still had just like a jacked human torso.
Oh
I
my
want to see
God.
I want to see this level of commitment with all the therians, which my brother, by the way, told me that's the term for people who like to be like animals, not furries, like
Okay.
animals. And like trans species, I guess we were saying on the episode I did with I forget which episode that is, but
This is the weirdest fucking video I've ever
this is
seen.
weird. I can't. Is there any sound? I forgot to see if there
It
was.
doesn't matter. I don't
Oh
need to hear
yeah,
it.
no,
It's
it's
all
not.
good.
There's not anyway.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
there's not more, is there?
realistic
I'm
dog costume. I don't
I'm
know.
all
It's
set.
it's mixed in because there's a lot of just different. We're getting a lot of just different dog. Nah.
Pizza Hut. There you go, dude. We were talking about Pizza Hut earlier.
Listen,
They're like, we do have stuffed crust.
I know. No, this is just someone's dog now. This is just a
Okay. All
border
right. Well,
collie.
thank God.
All right, we're gonna
Imagine
stop.
being like assassinated by a guy like in a dog outfit. Like he used that to like sneak
You're
in.
like, hey, boy.
Hey, boy. He's like, I'm not your boy.
And he just pulls the gun out of like I don't
Yeah.
know where at that point, out of his fur, like out of his mouth, out of the mouth.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
He doesn't even
That's
say a
cool.
word.
Well, now I have
Yeah.
a new nightmare.
Yeah.
It's a rabid
No.
man in a dog outfit.
It's the dumb kind or the zombie kind,
I think either one is equally as scary.
right? The dumb kind would be way more doggish. It would just be in your house for weeks and you wouldn't
Yeah.
know. You'd just be
Oh my God.
like, where do we get this dog at anyhow? Like, I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
I thought that was very interesting.
That's one
Uh
way to put it.
yeah. All right. Rob, you have anything else left? You want to plug some stuff? You want to tell the people where to find you? I'll put it on the description too if you don't feel like saying every single thing you're on.
Oh yeah, I'm on Instagram at Rob Stant Comedy. If you want to see me do comedy, I usually post my shows on there on my link tree in my bio. Also check out my podcast with my buddy Jim Gillespie at Two in the Stink podcast on Instagram. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, everywhere you can get podcasts, I'm pretty sure. So
Yes. All right. I got to get Jim on here soon. Very funny guy.
yeah.
All right. I think that's it. This has been wonderful, and I
Sweet.
hope you do not have any nightmares.
It's gonna happen, but it's okay. I'm gonna have sleep paralysis and it's gonna be like raccoons and bats.
Yes. Oh, you're definitely gonna be in that scene from Batman Begins.
Yeah.
All right, Rob.
Okay.
Peace out, man.
See ya. Thanks for having me.
All right.